One of your recent articles was about the first half, the top 10 biggest surprises thus far. So I want to talk about a few of those with you. Let's pick your top 3. Let's start. What was your third? Were they in order? Did you go like 10 through 1, or was it just 10?
No, I didn't. I didn't rank the level of surprise. It was just sort of more as they came to me. I think the top one there is, it might be the biggest surprise. I think it's at least maybe the most significant in terms of name value of the players and team involved. It's the Cardinals and Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, both 30-somethings, both having, both superstars, both potential Hall of Famers, both having their best ever seasons in the same season. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, quite a remarkable thing. These not like these guys were awful last year or ever, although Arenado had a pretty mediocre last few years relative to his standards. But, Goldschmidt has been, the second best hitter in baseball probably, and Nolan has been his best to date. So it's quite a remarkable thing. And obviously it's revealing some of the issues the Cardinals have with their pitching staff, because they're still not in the division league.
That was going to be my follow-up there. Is there cause for concern that you're saying you have your 2 best players, 2 potential Hall of Famers having the 2 best years of their career, yet they're not on the cusp of the playoffs right now?
It's remarkable when you look at that, right? The 2 possible to probable future Hall of Famers having the best seasons of their career, and they're losing in the division to a team that literally has no one hitting over, I believe, 250 in the Milwaukee Brewers, right? The Milwaukee Brewers don't have a single well above average hitter in their lineup this season. You have some guys that you'd hope that for, between Willy Adames, Christian Yelich, obviously Omar Narvaez, but none of them have really been that good. And yet the Brewers are ahead of the Cardinals. It speaks to the advantage the Brewers have in starting pitching. They have effectively have what the Cardinals have in their middle of their lineup at the top of their rotation.
The Angels want to hear none of this argument about 2 good players and the team not doing great. They want none of it.
Imagine if the Angels had a middle of the pack rotation. If we told you that at the start of the season, and Trout and Ohtani were doing wonderfully, and they'd have another hitter emerge as a potential All-Star in Taylor Ward, and they'd be 12 games under. Imagine how surprised you'd be.
Oh, God. All right, so let me hear another one of your mid-season surprises. Obviously, we're not going to go through all 10, but I feel like 3 is a good number. So what's another one from you?
I mean, I think, maybe I bring this up for you, Ben. It's one of the surprises is Spencer Torkelson and his lack of success so far. I mean, this is, I believe we talked about this just as the season was about to begin, that this guy had hit at every level he'd ever played at, right? And so for him to be, one of the least effective hitters in baseball through 3 months, I think constitutes a pretty significant surprise, right? I don't think this is suddenly making him no longer look like a future star,
right?
But it's certainly concerning. I mean, this is a 5-something OPS. This is a high strikeout rate. This is a lack of power, and this is on an everyday basis for 3 months. And this is the first time, since his stats have been tallied in any online register that he has not dominated.
Pedro, you said, I think I bring this one up for you, Ben, and I thought you were going to go with that your 39-year-old brother is now a 9-time All-Star and coming off of TJ, and he's been so good. And you went straight for the gut and hit me with a Torkelson's not doing well.
I would say, isn't it a more significant surprise that Spencer Torkelson has been awful than it is that Justin Verlander is once again great? I mean, I don't think that's I don't think it's, it's not that Justin Verlander's had success, right? We just ran a piece today on our website that he's a lock Hall of Famer. So it's not, I don't think it's as surprising that he would, sing great.
Good point. All right, Torkelson struggling. Yeah, that's been, it's interesting with the rookies this year because a lot of them started off that way. We were on this show right before the year. We did an AL preview and we talked about Spencer Torkelson. We talked about Bobby Witt. We talked about Julio Rodriguez, and all of them, that's not a stretch to say all of them got off to a slow start. And then we've seen Julio pick it up to a historic level. We've seen Bobby Witt pick it up to this is a good baseball player level, and Torkelson hasn't. So that has certainly been a surprise there, I think. What's another surprise for you from the first half?
I mean, at the risk of hounding it, I think, we mentioned it briefly, but the Angels, just how this situation has gone down between, Trout being very good. At one point this year, he was on a career pace. He's been slow lately, which I think has certainly contributed to this. But Trout being still great, Ohtani being even better as a pitcher than ever before, still really good as a hitter, and the team not being able to string together enough offense to, the degree of failure that offense has produced this season is I don't think we would find at any point in history a precedent to this, to having two of the best hitters in the sport and such a historically awful offense nonetheless. I think it really speaks to the need there to develop, competent hitters. They have some competent in-house players. Brandon Marsh in the outfield is a solid player. Looks like a big leaguer, but he's, so much of his value comes from his defense that he's just not an offensive asset. And
right.
You can maybe handle one or two of those guys in your lineup, but the way, this team lined up with Matt Duffy as their opening day cleanup hitter, and they just haven't, been able to, line up enough offensive depth to surround two of the best players in the sport, to even make a contending team. I think that's surprising. I wasn't quite as high on them as you were, I would say, but I still didn't expect them to be 12 games under at this stage.
Yeah. Join the club, Pedro. It's been rough out there watching the Angels.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.